making it through all the snow. So the boring part. Business owners know this, but not everybody else does. You don't need a new idea. You don't need to build from scratch. You just need to find an existing solution for a painful problem and deliver it to an underserved market. While everyone else is trying to build the next rocket ship to Mars, these entrepreneurs are quietly selling shovels to a gold miner, and they are getting rich doing it. So, what is the boring business for? Well, they call it white label SaaS. SaaS stands for software as a service. Just a fancy term for software you pay for monthlies, like Netflix, Spotify. The white label part is where the magic happens. Imagine you go to a grocery store and see two bottles of soda. One is Coca-Cola, the other one is the store's generic brand. It has the store's logo and a simple label that just says cola. You know that the store didn't build $1 billion factory just to make that one soda. They paid a large manufacturer to put their own label, their own brand on a product that already exists. That is exactly what white labeling is. White label SS or SaaS is a software company that creates a powerful tool and then lets other people like you and me put their own brand on it and sell it as their own. You don't build it, you don't maintain it, you don't update it. The original developer does all the heavy lifting. You perform your job, which is to be the face of the product, to market it, sell it, and support your customers. In exchange, you keep the lion's share of the profits. And this model is very powerful for a few key reasons. First, the speed to market is insane. You skip the entire development cycle, meaning you can launch a sophisticated piece of software in weeks, not years. You're not spending 2 years and thousands of dollars building something that might not even work. You're starting with a proven tool from day one. Second, the cost is astronomically lower. Building custom software is a huge financial gamble. A white label solution lets you get into the software game for a tiny fraction of the cost, if any at all. Best case scenario, you're looking at often just a few $100 a month. And this demolishes the barrier to the entry cost. Suddenly, you don't need a rich uncle or a venture capitalist to become a software entrepreneur. And third, and most importantly, is the reoccurring revenue. This is the holy grail. Instead of constantly chasing the next sale, you're building a predictable stream of income that comes in month after month. Whether you're actively working or not, each new customer adds to your monthly reoccurring revenue, or MRR, monthly reoccurring revenue. This is how you build real sustainable wealth. It's not about a one-time windfall. It's about creating a cash flowing asset that grows over time. And this isn't just a side hustle. It's a shortcut to launching a legitimate software business without the headaches of being a developer. You get to focus on the part of the business that actually makes you money, marketing and sales. And this is the most crucial step. And it's where most people mess it up. The temptation is to sell your new software to everyone. That's a fatal mistake. When you try to sell it to everyone, you sell it to absolutely no one. The key to success here is to niche it down. And I mean really niche it down. Your target market isn't businesses. It's not even small businesses. It's like a a contractor in Kansas City, or an independent gym in South Florida, or med spas in Orange County. The more specific you are, the more powerful your offer becomes. Why is this so critical? Because local service based businesses are the most underserved markets in the digital world. So think about your local plumber, dentist, or electrician. These are smart, hardworking people who are experts at their trade, but they are not tech experts. They don't have time to research and implement a dozen different software tools. They're overwhelmed and desperate for a simple all-in-one solution that just works. They're a hidden untapped market that the big tech companies completely ignore. When you focus on a single niche, a few magical things happen. First, your marketing gets incredibly easy. Instead of shouting into the internet void, you know exactly where your customers hang out. You can join their Facebook groups, go to their local trade shows, and speak their language. When you can say, I have a software platform built specifically to help roofing contractors get more leads, their ears will perk up in a way they never would for a generic CRM for small businesses. Second, you become an expert. You learn the specific pain points of that industry, their workflow, their challenges, their goals. This lets you tailor your software and your sales pitch to their exact needs. You're no longer just a software reseller. You're a trusted consultant solving their biggest problems. And third, competition becomes irrelevant. There might be 100 other people reselling the same white label software, but if you're the only one who has positioned it as the ultimate CRM for independent gym owners, you've effectively created your own category. So you're not competing on features, you're competing on your deep understanding of a specific customer. So how do you pick a niche? Start with what you know. Do you have a background in real estate? Are your parents dentists? Do you have friends who are personal trainers? Your existing knowledge is your biggest asset. If you're starting from scratch, look for industries with these traits: high customer value, businesses where one new client is worth a lot, like lawyers, contractors, surgeons. They'll gladly pay for software that helps them get more clients. Appointment based areas, businesses that rely on scheduling, salons, spas, chiropractors. And I'm going to be honest with you, nail salons and hair salons need more help bringing in customers than you think. With all the women with all their hair did, most females get their hair done at their auntie house, their mama house, or their homegirl house. Very few, in comparison to the quantity that get their hair done, actually go directly to the salon and make it work at the salon. There are some that go to the salon, and the salons do a good job, but there are more at their friend and family house getting their hair done than at the salon. So if you niched appointment-based software and some reality, not reality, but real-time advertisement towards their business, they would likely blow up simply because you were able to get them the viewership that they weren't able to get before, which would lead more people to travel a further distance to get to their salon, right? And that also works with spas and chiropractors. Chiropractors are like the second best one to go to, because while salons need extra help with business, everybody's hurt and doesn't know where to go to get help. And chiropractors, which are covered under a lot of people's health insurance, you could help them set up software that could allow them to network out to the everyday slip and fall car crash scenario, where they can get ongoing physical treatment after the car accident or after the slip and fall. These guys have clear pain points that scheduling software will definitely solve. Lead dependent businesses. These businesses need a constant flow of new leads: real estate agents, insurance agents, and home services. Especially my buddy going into life insurance. He was selling life insurance and creating a lead-based business. I could start up a lead-based business where the software would generate him more insurance agents, and then I could contract that software out to him and get a percentage of his sales, because the software itself gets him enough leads to close more insurance deals. I actually might do that now that I think about it. It'll make more money for him, but it'll make more money for me too. And if I'm making more money from him than it costs for me to run the platform, if I utilize that software for more insurance agents and provide more leads to more insurance agents that they close deals on, I get more commission. Whether they pay me a referral rate for each person that they close, or I sell them a flat rate for the usage of the software, and they just keep whatever they make off of the referral rate. They make more money, I make money too, but I don't have to do anything else. Grab the software, put it to work. They do all the work. They close the deals, but I got paid. Middleman from need to supply, right? There's reputation focused businesses. And these are going to be businesses where online reviews are everything. Restaurants, hotels, local shops. They will pay for a solution that helps them get more 5 stars. Genuine 5-star reviews, right? So don't overthink it. Just pick one. If you wanted to be a guru of the local shops that you shop at, get out there and start doing a bunch of reviews at every restaurant that you go to. You could create a web page on all the best places to shop at and build up a marketplace for that, and then literally have restaurants calling you up like, hey, what's going on? Come shop at my, or stores, come shop at my store. You can do that with hotels. You pop up at different hotels and you record your experience with each hotel. And every scenario, you want to promote the hotel as a better hotel, right? 5-star reviews, point out all the best parts of the hotel. And each time you do that, that builds their reputation. But if you had a software that could redirect more customers to that hotel, where that software might offer a meaningful discount to the client for a 5-star review, or a coupon for the next stay at the hotel for a 5-star review, you will end up having people just to get that free coupon that they might not even use give a 5-star review at a local restaurant, hotel, or local store just to get that coupon. A few hundred people go to that place. Now they got a few hundred 5-star reviews. All of these coupons out, whether they use them or not. The fact is that the restaurant accomplished their goals, and they will pay you for that solution. So you don't have to overthink it. Just pick one idea and you can always change it later. The goal is to get started. You choose a niche and you commit to becoming the go-to software provider for that specific group. Likewise, if you get it off the ground, you get it started, you get 5 or 10 customers under your belt, and you decide that you want to do something else, you can keep that first one going and you can start up a second one. And while you're getting to 10 or 15 on the first one, you're getting your first 5 or 10 on the second one. You can make enough money between the two of them where you can hire a person to help manage one of them while you manage the other. Or you can hire 2 people and have one manage each one, and you focus on making more of them. It's just that simple. If you have somebody else middleman in your operation, where for each client they close, they're going to get, for each client they add onto the first software. So say, for example, you start off with the restaurants and you hire somebody, and for each restaurant they close, you give them, say, 40%. Reasonable. You can give them the lion's share. You can give them 70%, where you keep. Now, while they're closing restaurants, you could be closing hotels. You could hire somebody and give them 70% for closing hotels. You're getting 30% per new client off the restaurants, 30% for each new client off the hotels. And then if you're working on the spas and the chiropractors, you're making money everywhere. And you can actually put 2 more people there. Now you got a small business of 5. The person who's doing the most promoting, you can turn that person into a trainer and have that person do the hiring and firing to bring more people on, and have those people spread out across all of the businesses. Now you got you a pyramid scenario where the person at the top can get 10% of your commission, where you go down from 30 to 10. And that guy gets 10% from each one of the people who he's managing, who's going to close and get their 70. You're getting 20% from each sale and not doing squat. You're watching, probably doing payroll. And wait, you can give another 5% to a third-party payroll company, and now you're getting 15% to do absolutely nothing, not even payroll, not even taxation. And the whole business is automated. That is how you scale up. But once you've chosen a niche, it's time for you to find a software that you're going to rebrand and sell. And this is going to be the fun part, because you are essentially shopping for a business in a box. There are hundreds of companies offering white label SaaS products, and your goal is to find a platform that's robust, reliable, and a perfect fit for the platforms, for the problems that your niche is going to be handling. For example, you can if you were going to be a website designer and you were going to use Wix.com, and you can do that, you can actually sell your services, create a bunch of websites through Wix.com, and pay for the membership for each one of those services. And guess what? If they're paying you more than what it costs for you to pay Wix, the difference is your profit. But you're creating all of these websites off of Wix. You're buying the domain name. You're servicing the domain name and the web page through Wix, and everything is at the click of a button. And something like taking Wix.com and just creating a bunch of websites for a bunch of companies that need a website, that's a business. And right now, Wix is charging like $500 for 2 years worth of service, plus the domain, where you pay, like the GoDaddy would charge you like $50. So you could say for $600 a year, you'll run their service. Or you could say for $600 to start it up, and then a membership of, I don't know, $75 a month or $100 a month, where ultimately by the time you reach year 2, you would have gotten back twice as much as what you would have paid for it. And they would be able to maintain their Wix site and their domain name through the money they're paying you, and you keep the profit. And for each one that you do that with a $600 profit difference for a year's worth of doing nothing, because the website operates on its own. You don't got to do nothing else, and you just be making money. Michael says it's called dog legging. Jingle leg, jingle leg. You're shaving money, which is good. Well, you're saving money and you're shaving money off here and there, because the more work that you do, well, the more work that you offset onto somebody else, the less profit you're going to get overall. But even though you're making less, you're also doing less, and that gives you more time to focus on expansion. So instead of putting in a lot of work to get a little bit of money, you put more effort into getting a lot more people to get the work done for you, so that a lot more money comes in, so that after you pay the workers, you keep the difference. And if it's $100 a person and you're keeping $20 a person, after 10 people, you still made $200. We have a gentleman that just came in and said, I am a millionaire. Okay. Millionaires usually don't broadcast that, but I'll take that. Mr. Wonderful. Okay. Mr. Wonderful. He says, I'm a millionaire. AMA. Good job. Time is your profit. Oh, yeah. Well, time is the only renewable resource that you must value over everything. But it's not just the time that is the profit, because you have more time to expand it. With expansion, like I said, if each person is earning you $100 and you're paying each person 80, you're getting $20 a person. 10 people in, you've made, or 5 people in, if you made $100 yourself. So if you got 5 people working at making $500, each person's getting $100, or each person's getting 80, you're getting 100, and you double down on that. You got $1,000 and you're only giving out 800. You're keeping the other 200. And that's the cost of doing business. But you are not doing all the heavy lifting. You start expanding that on a $100,000 scale, where you're only giving out 80%. You're keeping 20,000 out of 80,000. On $1 million scale, you're keeping 20%. You're giving out 800,000, but you're keeping 200,000. You're still not doing more work. You're hiring the supervisors to watch the supervisors, to watch the workers, to watch the stores, to watch the, you know what I mean? All the way down the line. Is a, hey, millionaire, do you carry debt? Anyone who is a successful millionaire would be carrying debt. So if he says he doesn't carry debt, he's not a millionaire. I want more. I did all the risk. No, you don't do all the risk. You should, if you're smart about it, you're not supposed to be doing all the risk. The other individuals who are getting 80% can say that they want more because they're doing all the risk, but they have less risk than you do. Because here's the thing. You started the business. You invested in the product. You got some clients going. You show somebody else how to get the clients. They don't have to spend a dime to get into this, and they get money off of every product that they sell. Their time is their investment, and their profit is their commission. So if the product sells, they will sell it. The product doesn't sell, they're not going to be able to sell it, and they're going to move on very fast. But if they're able to make a few calls or stop at a few places and sell 3 or 4 of them a month, and they're able to make enough money to cover their standard of living, they will continue to sell it for you. Which also means that if you're able to go out there and sell 5 or 6 of them a month, and you're able to make a few $100,000, or not a few $100,000, but like $2,000 to $5,000 a month off of your sales, and you're able to show them based off of your own efforts of wandering around and talking to random people, you're getting it done, and you will give them a percentage of what you make for them to get it done for you. If they put in the effort, they're going to get it done. You're showing them how much they're getting per sale. I want 40 per person. Yeah, well, you can do 40 per person, but it makes no sense to do 40 per person. And the reason why it doesn't make sense to do 40 per person is because if when you're thinking about $100 a person per sale, and that's just assuming hypothetically you're charging $100 a person per sale. uh if there and because you could be doing like $500 sales, and you're saying, well, you'll give them $400 or $300 out the sale, and you're keeping like $100 or $200 out of the sale. And when you think about that, if they make, like I said before, 4 to 6, they're making like $2,000 to $3,000 a month, which is a stable standard of living. You're still making 2/5 of that. So they're making like three, you're making two, and you're not doing squat. There's no reason for that. I mean, being greedy, you can be greedy, but you'd have to guarantee that in order for an employee to come in and run the run with you, you would have to guarantee that their standard of living would be covered based on the quantity of sales that you're expecting them to make. Because if you can't do that, then you're going to lose you're going to lose employees, which puts the work back on you. And you get 100% of commission, but you're not actually making any sales. You got to make it worth their while. If you treat it like a mafia position and do 20% guaranteed across the board, and if you did 20% where the person putting in all the footwork, blood, sweat, and tears, they get 80%, and you get the difference. You set up the business. You're not doing any work towards the sales. They get what they get, but you're getting the reoccurring. They're only getting commission on the close. You're getting the residual payouts off of the monthly service because they're selling subscriptions. I wouldn't mind giving them the first month free, give them the first $500, and I keep every other $500 a month for the rest of the lifetime of the contract. I'd still be getting more because they would only get paid if they add new customers to the plate. I get paid for the residual subscriptions. So don't think greed. You got to think about getting paid on the back end. Because you can't be successful in life without the help of others. So be careful to your pawns. Exactly. And that's why I'm telling you, instead of you being greedy and saying, oh, yeah, I'm only going to give the guy 60%, it's like, nah, fuck it. I'll give you 80% because no one will ever give you 60. I mean, no one will ever give you 80%. I'll give you 80%. But you're going to get 80% off of each deal you close. I'm going to get residuals. See what I'm saying? So like Warren Buffett says, if the company is making money, leave it alone. Right. So your logic is, I want more money out of the pot. Why? If the employees are making money, the employees are going to keep making money for the company. That's the best way to go about doing it. The mentality. So let's see what this gentleman has to say. He says, do I carry debt? Not really. My company has some. I bought my house cash, and I'm a part owner in a healthcare company that has multiple health centers. A little bit of real estate, all free and clear. He's still holding some debt, buddy. And the fact is that no millionaire doesn't hold debt. Millionaires hold debt. Okay, so I think the logic behind this scenario is not so much does a millionaire hold debt? What kind of debt do they hold? Because a lot of times a millionaire will leverage the assets that they have to acquire working capital. That working capital is a debt. You take out a working capital loan on profits from your healthcare company to buy other or expand on the healthcare company in some way, shape, or form. The profits will pay for the advancement, but that's still a debt. You leverage, if you're doing real estate, you leverage 2 or 3 properties to buy a third or a fourth. The leveraging of those properties to close on that bigger property. If you leverage 3 houses to close on an apartment complex, the mortgage that you just did, or the hard money advancement that you just acquired, that's a debt. You could leverage a couple $1,000,000 towards a $5 million massive rental property that's generating several $100,000 a month. And while that property is paying off that mortgage, you're still holding debt. You're not debt free. Now, since all of the debt is tied up into the business itself, the person doesn't really hold much debt, if anything, because their cars will be bought cash up front, their house will be bought cash up front, all of their assets will be put into trust. So technically, they don't own anything, but they benefit from everything being around them. Uh, they do things like when they take out a loan on something, they pay themselves out of the loan, and then they use the profits from the business to pay back the loan. So what they got was unrealized income. But yes, millionaires and billionaires usually hold a zero balance. They're not running in the negative, but they're holding a zero balance. That is true. I bought 2 condos in Miami cash, but really they were short-term loans, which I used my assets as leverage slash collateral. So you're right. And that's what I keep trying to tell Michael. Michael swears to God that you have to run no debt at all. And I'm like, that's not, you got to spend money to make money. It's not possible to run debt free 100% of the time. And then, expand on the business. Well, Michael, in order for you to get a business off of the ground, you're not going to be debt free because you're going to be a personal guarantor towards all the debt on the business when you first start up, unless you have some cash invested into the business, which might not be your observation of debt, but any financial investment you put towards the business, you're entitled to that capital on the back end as a what do they call that? Not just the founder, the equity investor, the executive investor. That's what it is. The primary person that invested into the business. But there's still debt there because you are owed the money you put into the business. Now the business owes you, and then you get yours either out of shares in the company or you get yours out of access to assets, or you get yours back out of the profits at some point because the executive investors get paid first before everybody else gets paid. And but that still means that you start off with debt somewhere. Millionaires have lines of credit, extremely high lines of credit. Those extremely high lines of credit come from their ability to pay off debt on their personal credit, or be a authorized user of lines of credit that's paid off by the business, where they can build up their credit limits through a credit history. It's not just debt free all the way around and just end up with an 850 credit score. You have to show that you pay off your loans. You have to borrow against your name and pay that down. You have to, or be added on to an authorized user or primary user of commercial lines of credit, something to that effect. He said, "Oh, so do you carry personal debt?" No personal debt at the moment. I have had small debt, none right now. For example, my car is a performance SUV, which can be bought under the business. He said that the business paid for it exactly, and I get tax credits. Exactly why you buy new cars is for that tax credit, the 100% tax credit as soon as you buy the vehicle. And you use that so that you don't have to pay taxes on the profits that your business made. So now you're running to the dealership buying new vehicles, not because it's more affordable. It's because that $50,000 for a car is $50,000 worth of tax credits. But there's your assets. So the right here is his assets, right there, where he's not buying the SUV cash up front out of his own pocket. He's using the profits from the business to buy the SUV so that he can get the tax credits from buying the SUV. So instead of going to an auction and buying himself a cheaper vehicle, which isn't going to give him the tax benefits, if he made $100,000 worth of taxable income and he had to pay $40,000 worth of taxation, if he went and bought him a $40,000 car that was an SUV or really heavy car, because I do believe it's something close to 5.5 to 6,000 pounds is the requirement of the vehicle in order for it to be considered a commercial vehicle. And if he bought that, it would give him the tax credits that he needs to not have to pay taxes on that 100 grand. He's got a free vehicle because he would have had to give that money to Uncle Sam for the amount of money he profited. But since he bought a work vehicle with that money, he doesn't have to pay the taxes on that money. And look, and that's what I was telling y'all last year. You buy everything you need to buy in December. You buy all the paper, pencils, ink pens, printer paper, new equipment, everything that you need, new vehicles, all the stuff that you're going to try to buy. You want to try to close all that stuff in quarter 4, November, December. If it takes you a few weeks to close on it, you want to start doing it in October or November. But if you can get it done at the first week of December, get it done before the 31st of December, everything that you need to pay for, you pay for it in December, because you know that's how much I'm gonna get taxed, that's how much I'm gonna spend. That's when you start running. You're running off with, because as a millionaire, you reach that point where you're trying to find stuff to buy so that you don't got to pay taxes. You're not afraid of debt. You're trying to create debt so that you don't got to pay taxes on it. That makes a lot more sense than just chasing debt and trying to pay off all these high-end credit cards that you couldn't afford it when you charged it to your card to begin with. Because I started working at 9, so by high school I had money stacking in Microsoft, etc. That's good. That's a good job, Michael. That's very good. I wish I would have been putting money in Microsoft when I was in middle school. Nothing wrong in what you're saying. Times are changing. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's been 40, 45 or 50 years since like you were young. So it's been a long time. And while everything is changing, we're in a position where we can find better ways to make money, and if we pay attention. When you're looking at your small business or your medium business, your S corporation, well, not your S corporation, more like a C corporation or an LLC, you're looking at the line items for tax season as to what is a tax deduction, and that's the stuff that you're buying at the end of your tax year. So if you know at the end of 2026 that these line items are deductible, that's the stuff you're going to buy with your money when you have to spend enough money to offset taxation. You can pretty much estimate the approximation of how much profit you made versus how much debt you generated, and the difference where you start seeing, oh, I might have to pay $20,000 worth of taxation, and you can buy $20,000 worth of supplies for the office and not have to pay that taxation. This is what we learn this after a while, and then after we learn it, then we start trying to implement it. So let's look at some of the most profitable categories of white label software for local businesses. They have all-in-one CRM and marketing automations. And this is the undisputed king of white label SaaS platforms, because this platform is, like, for example, Go High Level. They are popular for a reason. They bundle a dozen different tools every local business needs into a single platform: a CRM, email and SMS marketing, and website builder, an appointment scheduler, a unified inbox, and reputation management. For a local business owner, this is a dream come true, right? Instead of juggling 5 different subscriptions, they get everything they need from one provider, which is you. A highly recommended starting point here is going to be because the value is so obvious for them. A reputation management platform for local businesses. Online reviews are everything. A flood of bad reviews can kill a business. White label reputation management software automates getting more positive reviews on Google, Yelp, and other sites. It can text happy customers asking for a review while filtering negative feedback internally so the owner can handle it privately. He said entertainment. Well, yeah, we can do entertainment too. The pitch is going to be simple. I can help you get more 5-star reviews and bury your competitors in the search results. That's easy. Online booking and scheduling. Any business that takes appointments feels the pain of scheduling. The phone tag, the no-shows, the double bookings. It's a nightmare. A white label scheduling tool solves this instantly. It lets customers book online 24/7, sending automatic reminders and syncing with the owner's calendar, which reduces, if not eliminates, double bookings. You can sell this to salons, spas, consultants, mechanics. The list is endless here. Okay. This is the stuff that people don't think. And that's why I encourage you to do it. Social media management. Most business owners know they should be on social media, but they have no time. A white label social media scheduler like Social Pilot lets you offer a platform where they can plan, schedule, and automate all of their posts from one dashboard. Shoot, I might get on that one for my own benefits. And you can even preload it with content templates for their industry, making it a complete no-brainer. So when you're evaluating a white label provider, let me give you some information as to what you look for. Is that, are you a paid advertiser, or are you involved with the software in some way? Actually, some people can't get into this. My podcast specifically focuses half of the week on showing people how to make, save, and invest money on Tuesdays, different countries around the world to invest and live in at an affordable price, and how politics impacts their money and their ability to make, save, and invest money. So somebody talked to me about this last week. I did a lot of research on it, and I'm covering the topic this week because apparently you can make a shit ton of money doing white label software where the topic, the people, the company that I'm talking about, I don't affiliate with them. This is a completely non-biased discussion. I do not get paid from any of the companies that I'm talking about today. I do not get any commissions from anybody. I do not even have any links to give you for any of the locations that I'm talking about right now, because I did all of the research. I compiled them over the last few days, and I'm covering the topic today because there are other ways for us to become digital nomads where we can work off of the computer, we can make money so that we can learn how to become a millionaire like you, so that we don't have to depend on that 9 to 5 job, so that we don't have to depend on working for a boss we don't like, so that we don't have to depend on having to leave the house on a regular basis, struggling to get to work with a broke down car, trying to make money for our presence, when we could literally be making money for ourselves and then have it set up where our money can make money for us so that we can find a place to retire. The main goal, and that's just half the week, because the other half of the week is working on personal decision making, because the stuff that you do in your personal life costs you money, which forces you to put more effort into making money on your primary job. So I literally covered this topic because somebody told me this is a good thing. And they talk to me on TikTok while I'm trying to get TikTok added to the Twitter, Twitch, and the 2 different YouTube platforms that I'm using right now. TikTok, I'm trying to get up there as a 4th location for people to watch the show. And somebody was talking to me about white label software. My homeboy was talking to me about selling life insurance policies, and I'm like, this is dope. Like these are ways where you can go from maintaining your current job, doing this on the side as a hustle, making enough reoccurring capital on the side, lower your hours on your primary job, turn this into your priority, quit your main job, do this 100% of the time, and you can do it from anywhere in the world. And I'm like, this is what people need to be. With 70%, about 77% of Americans not making 100,000 a year, I'm like, fuck, I'm going to make the kind of podcast that's going to help both men and women find that stopping point. Figure your 20-year plan out, work out your retirement status, where what you're doing is going to end up giving you a permanent retirement where the next 25 to 30 years after you quit working, you do not need to wonder where your money's coming from. And if you do it right, investing upward of 40 plus thousand a year, if you can get that high, you can find yourself between 10 and 20 years upward of $1 million to $2 million, where you can travel the world living off your brokerage account, where you're getting paid almost 20% interest off of your brokerage account, and the money would be paying you enough to cover double your standard of living, and you can take the other half of the money and travel the world. Your house is bought and paid for. You already know this. There's no mortgage you got to deal with. You only got to deal with the property taxes. I was telling everybody about the homestead tax exempt, the tax credit that reduces your taxation. Then after you reach a certain age, you can get an exemption where they're not continuously raising your taxes every you pass over. You have the survivorship you put on your deeds with. You have somebody else on your deed that's old as dirt. When they die, you just get all of their shares instead of having to go through probate. And all of these things help you to go to a different country, live awesome, come back to America whenever you feel like it, and everything is already paid for. Way easier than working 9 to 5, and the best vacation you have is staying at home for 3 days resting your feet. You say, okay, cool, that's what's up. Just curious. I love entrepreneurial content. That's all. That's what I'm all about. Is empowering people to find their own way is where it's at, and that's why I'm planning to be a business consultant. Special shout out for that little guy when they get more free time. And what I'm actually doing is I'm trying to help them find the free time. So maybe at some point when they find the free time by building a little bit of extra spending capital on the side, then I can redirect them to you, and you can help them start up their own business or turn what they're doing into a business. Because if you do it as a side hustle, you don't always have all your paperwork in order. You just know how to generate the revenue. But at some point, you're going to have that official business establishment set up in your local city and state. Even if you're doing it online, worldwide, you've got to have a home office somewhere, wherever your IRS is going to be sending your tax forms to. You got to have a home office somewhere, post office box in some city or state somewhere. And they have digital locations where if you don't want to use your physical house as the actual address for the business, you can like buy an offsite location that you can represent your business under, and then use a post office box to receive mail related to your business. And it looks like your business is freaking awesome. There's all kinds of ways that you can get yourself started up and steadfast in the ability to make yourself more successful. So I do this on a regular basis to show people that we don't. While I hear so much on social media how females are looking for men that make 100,000 a year, men are struggling to kill themselves to make that. I'm showing women how two people with 50,000 a year can come together and be millionaires inside of 10 or 20 years, and two people that are ambitious can live under one income and invest the other income and make themselves millionaires in 10 to 20 years. And also, if two people came together, very ambitious individuals, could split the cost of starting something like this up and build a business that they could take turns on as a joint venture and build themselves up to a position where both of them can focus on this full time. One can do the hiring, one can do the expansions, networking and everything, and they can build the business up to something that they can both quit. And you don't always have to do this with your romantic partner. You can do this with your best friend if they have the drive and ambition, but you have to curate your network to the 5 people that are willing to make more money than you are. Not just the 5 people that are willing to ride your coattails and get a paycheck. You need driven people to be successful. So when you're out on a date, if they're not talking about making themselves successful, you don't really give a shit if she's hot or not. If he's not out there talking about how he's going to expand on his business and make himself successful, you don't really give a shit about how much money he paid for the date. Because if he doesn't have the drive to not be broke for the next 30 years, if she doesn't have the drive to not be broke for the next 30 years, whoever you partner with is going to be broke, and they're going to keep you broke because they're going to spend every extra dollar you make. So you want to find somebody that's not willing to waste money. And that's just across the board. So if you got homeboys where every time they get extra money, they're buying gold chains, they're buying gold teeth, they're buying brand new Jordans, but they're never getting themselves a car that could get them to and from work faster or get them to and from a second job faster, they're wasting their money, which is going to waste your time. So you don't want to partner with people like that. But a person that's willing to invest in a car, use that car to make money, and that person has enough ability to take time out of work to make more money somewhere else doing something else, that's the drive you want to stick with. You want to stick with an ambitious person that is willing and able to expand their ability to bring money in. You don't want to partner with somebody that's going to ride your coattails, because when you buddy with somebody, they're going to feel entitled to the cut because they're half owner of the business, but you're doing all the work. Well, yeah, I showed up. Nah, but how many customers did you close? You know what I mean? If we're going to split this 50-50, for every customer I bring in, you bring in 2. That way, we take a third of this money and put it on the overhead, and we split the other 2/3. But if we're in a situation where I'm doing most of the work or I'm doing most of the financial investment, if I'm investing more financially than you are, I need a return on my investment, and then we split the difference. But if I'm not getting a return on my investment, then that means you're the only person getting paid. Because for every $200 I put in, $400 comes out, and we split that $200 50-50. You get 200 and or you get 100 and I get 100. Well, fuck, I just spent 200. I lost 100. That's not a good deal for me. You know what I mean? So if I put up 200 and we make 400, and the difference out of that is going to be I get 300 because I'm going to put 200 back in, and you get 100 because you didn't do anything but show up, then that makes a lot more sense. But there's never a situation where the financial investor is going to make the same amount or less than the person who didn't financially invest. The person who didn't financially invest offsets their lack of financial capital with physical effort. So you're going to get less, and I'm going to pay more, and I'm going to get less than what I paid. And that's the difference. That's how you're going to split this 50-50, and then tax deductions. So when you're evaluating these white label providers, here's what you guys got to look for. You got to look for true white labeling. Can you completely remove their branding? And make sure while you're looking at us, wonderful. Make sure to take the time to like and subscribe and follow the channel. You have to ask yourself, can you completely remove their branding and use your own logos, colors, and custom domains? That's got to be one of the first things that you got to ask yourself. The client should never know the exact original company's existence. Okay? A true white labeling. If they're going to have their logo attached, like blended into your logo somewhere or something to that effect, I mean, you can kind of run with it, but it's going to be a little bit harder to do because they can always cut you out and go straight to the source, right? You want to eliminate the area. Healthy margins is what you're going to pay attention to next. The wholesale cost should be low enough for you to mark it up significantly and still offer a great deal. You should be able to aim for a gross margin of at least 60 to 80% and still be a good deal. Find something with strong support. How good is their support for you, the reseller? You are their primary customer, and you need to know that they'll be there to help you quickly with whatever you got going on with their product, so that if your client needs help, they'll be able to help the client. It has to be a scalable platform. The platform should be able to grow with you as you add more clients without slowing down the performance of the platform. You got to do your research, sign up for some free trials, play with some software, and you might actually have to pay for a month or two of the service to see exactly where it's going to go. A platform like Go High Level is going to be a fantastic starting point because it covers so many bases. But the most important thing it is that it chooses a tool that you are confident in and that solves a real problem for your niche. You've got your niche and your secret weapon software. Now, it's time for the rebranding magic that turns this generic software into your product. This is how you create a real brand. Customers will being a legit software company in your clients. First, you need a name and a logo. Don't get stuck here because your name should be professional and easy to remember and hint at what you do. Target a real estate agent, try Agent Flow or Realty OS. Targeting gyms, maybe Fit CRM or Gym Grow. Use a simple online logo maker. Keep it clean. Process is gonna take time. You might change your logo over time. You might even change the way you start up your name. If your first couple of names are gonna be stupid, but you're gonna figure one out that you can lean on. And once you start establishing the business licensing and the business name and the tax identification number, you're gonna kind of stick with that. You might end up doing a doing business as DBA, where you don't change the name with the IRS, but you change the name in society. But regardless of the fact, you're gonna match your name with your logo. This is gonna take a little bit of progress over time. It's not perfect. It's just enough to get you started and get you going. Next, you'll drive into the white label settings of your software. You'll upload your logo, choose your brand colors, and most importantly, set up your custom domains. This means that when your clients log in, they won't go to genericsoftware.com, which I think is kind of a pretty nifty domain. They'll actually go to at whatever your brand name is.com. That's actually better for you, though. This single step creates the reality that this is your software. But rebranding goes deeper than just looks, right? This is where you add your specific unique value. You're not just selling a software, you're selling a solution packaged in a way that's irresistible to your niche. This is where you create your package. Maybe 2 to 3 tiers like starter, pro, and premium. This is a classic pricing strategy that always works wonders. Here's a simple structure. Starter tier, foot in the door offer, might include the core CRM and booking features to show them value. The pro tier is going to be the one that you want most people to buy. So this is going to have everything that's in the starter plus the power hitters like marketing automation and reputation management. You'll price this as the best value. Premier tier is going to be where you done it for you offer is going to be more strategically tuned. It includes all the software, but you also bundle in your own services like done for you steps. You completely set up their account, import their contacts, and build their first marketing campaigns. Gives you a little bit of work to do, but it also guarantees that they're working directly with you when you're setting up their system for them. And niche specific templates is going to help you out because you can pre-build email campaigns or sales funnels proven to work in their industry. A roofer gets a hailstorm follow-up campaign, done. A gym gets a new member onboard sequence, done. This is a value no generic provider can offer. Not to mention, if you've done it for one client and it's working, it will work for every other client that's in that exact same niche. So now you don't have to feel out each one of the clients that you have. You do it right for the first guy, and every other guy that you do it with, it's just copy and paste. Priority support, that's going to be an extra thing. They get direct access to you for help and strategies, as opposed to the other brands would have to reach out and wait for a response via email. By packaging it this way, you are changing the conversation. You're no longer selling a commodity, you are selling an outcome. Your clients aren't buying just a simple CRM, they are buying a system to get more clients. This is how you command premium prices and create insane profit margins. All right, this is the part that should get you really excited. So let's break down the actual numbers and see how profitable this boring business can actually be on the path to $4,000 a month. Powerful white label platforms like Go High Level have a reseller plan that costs around $297 or $497 per month. For our example, let's use their Agency Pro plan. As of today's show, which is February 3rd, February 4th of 2026, it is currently priced at around $497 a month. And it lets you create unlimited client accounts. This is going to be key. Your main cost is fixed in. So your profit margin grows with every client that you add. Now, let's talk about what you charge. Remember, you're selling a complete solution. So you can charge a premium common price point for all in one platforms for a local business between $197 and $497 per month. Now, one of the things that I think is very good about this is because if you're using this, you can be your first client. You can honestly be your first client. You can use all of the software for your own business and put it to work for your own business to help you get more clientele through your business. Then you can use that same experience to help clients that you add on to the platform to expand their businesses through your business. Okay. So let's be conservative and say that you price your main pro tier at about $297 per month. Your cost is going to be a flat $497 a month. Your price per client is going to be $297, which is about $200 less than what you pay every month. So let's do the math. One client, revenue $297, one cost $497. You're down $200. Almost covered the whole software with a single sale. With two clients, you'd be at $595 with $97 a month paid back. Just two clients, right? Congratulations, you are now a profitable software company. Just locking in two clients. Now, everything from here is pure profit. With 5 clients, you're making $1,485. You're paying $495. Your profit $988 a month. That's almost $1,000 a month in reoccurring profits. A car payment or a chunk of your mortgage from just 5 clients. With 15 clients, $297 times 15, $4,455. You're still paying that $495. Your profit is $3,958 per month, and there is where the magic happens, because with 15 local businesses paying a reasonable monthly fee, you have built a business that prints nearly $4,000 in reoccurring profits every single month, because they're likely to pay the $299 a month. So if you only have 15 clients that you have to manage, you're bringing in $4,000 a month. Now you can start off using that $4,000 a month to hire a second person, recruit more clientele where you don't have to, or you can do it too. And with the two of y'all, you could pay that person, say, $100 a client, or you could pay that person, say, the $200 or $300 for the referral, where they only get paid for bringing in the new client, and you keep the reoccurring service fee. If they locked in 15 clients and they got, say, $300 for the first client off of 15 clients, they would likely draw back a pretty decent quantity, because that's what, the 3,000, like 4,500 off of the first month of locking down, but you get all of the rest of the money after that. And let's say they close 5 clients a month on your behalf, and you're going to give them $300 per client that they close for you, which gives that person now $1,500 a month out of the 15 plus more clients that you're closing on your own, which is going to be generating you another $4,000 a month, which gives you the capabilities to pay them to expand your network by an extra 5 clients a month, because they're only going to get paid what they bring in. and then you're going to keep the residual payments for the subscription. This is going to be a major hitter for you. Okay. And this also gives you the ability to scale faster. You will find yourself at this point grossing profit margins that is around a staggering 88%. But again, when you start hiring people on and expanding more advertisements and whoop, you'll find yourself in a position getting closer to 60%. But 60% of $100,000 is still $60,000 a year. Doesn't matter if you're putting out an extra 40 grand, because the software is only going to cover you what, $400, $500 a month. So for 12 months, that's $6,000 a year that you're going to be paying on the software. The other $30,000 a year, you're paying somebody else to do the work with you. So now for a quick reality check here, you got to pay attention to this part. You will have some other small costs, like for example, payment processing fees or per message charges for texts and emails if your client uses a lot, which you often pass on to them anyway in their premium packages. You also have to account for your own time spent on technical support. But even with those variables, the margins are still incredibly doable compared to other business models. Because ultimately, if you had $6,000 for the whole year, you could start up with $500 a month. Use the software yourself to build yourself up, to bring more clients in, reach out and get more clients in. And if you're using the real rule of 52, where you contact between 25 and 52 people a day and do that 5 days a week, you're likely to get 1 to 5 clients in a meeting. And out of those 1 to 5, out of 30 clients, you should lock down 3 to 5 a month. Out of 30 appointments, out of the rule of 52, you should be able to lock down enough clients to where the first 2 you lock down, the software pays for itself. That's your ultimate goal. So even if you're working a full-time job and then you're doing something like this on the side and you get your first 2 clients in, even if it takes you 2 months, the first 2 clients in and they're paying a monthly membership, the platform's paying for itself. Every other client after that is lagniappe. It's extra money on top. Once you start making your $4,000, $6,000, $8,000 a month off of continuing to add to your reoccurring membership, you come to find that you don't need to work your primary job anymore. And if you've got all month to reach out to people, you could take your time. You can literally get up at 6 or 8 o'clock in the morning and make that your thing. Get up in the morning, call till lunch, or even get up at lunch and call people until the end of business day and lock in. Or if you want to be a foots on the ground kind of guy, you can drive around and go to local. If your niche is going to be local businesses, go to local businesses that don't look like they have a very good internet presence, and you go to those local businesses and you offer them the option to expand. You can enjoy their service, give them a positive review, and then utilize that discussion to offer them a service. You could turn a $5 coffee into a $400 a month reoccurring bill, where next time you go back for the coffee, it'll be on them because they're making more money because of you. You can do the same thing with hotels. You can do the same thing. You can rebrand just about anything that you want to rebrand with this type of software, right? And it doesn't stop there, because 30 clients, that's over $8,400 in monthly profits. 50 clients, over $14,000 a month in monthly clients, which means that at this point, with when you're getting $8,400 a month, you can have 2 employees under your belt at $14,000 a month. You can have 5 employees under your belt where you no longer have to do anything. You have to price point their salary to close deals, and then your pay after they've closed the deals. You know, and the more deals they have to close, and it has to be reasonable acceptance on how to get these things closed down. But the more deals that they close inside of the niche that you're working in, the better it is for you. If you were to start up multiple different platforms like this, using the same software, might I add, you got 3 to 5 people doing the first one, which, let's say, gym memberships. And then you're doing enough money where those guys can do their own thing. You get in and start up another one and start working on, say, plumbing. And you got a few guys working on that one. And then you get another one that does, say, chiropractor work, whatever. Your brand is still your brand. Your brand is still your brand, but you're going to have certain people controlled on certain niches. And you can still have your company you can have a company website. And then here's the best part, because I didn't even think about sticking this into the script. When you build your website about something like this, guess what you put into your website? All of the successful companies that are using your program. Plain and simple. So the model is incredibly scalable because your main cost is fixed in. Because once you reach that certain point, they give you unlimited service, which means you can do as much as you need to make money. All right. Now, if your mind is racing with possibilities, that's a fantastic thing. And we've covered the what, the why, and the who. So if you want a deep dive, you guys got to go ahead and check in the membership, because we've got a lot of information that gives you resources about a list of the top white label platforms and step-by-step launch plans that could potentially benefit you. So keep an eye out for that. Outside of the cost of membership, getting that information is completely free. You just have to make your way over there to figure out how you want me to help you get you started as one of our members. Now, this is going to be the part that scares most people, but it doesn't have to be complicated, because I'm not selling you shit. I'm just telling you better ways for you to benefit yourself. You have a powerful niche specific offer. Now, you just need to get it in front of the right people. Forget complex sales funnels or expensive ads for now. The path to your first 5 to 10 clients is going to be simple, manual, and direct. Here are a few proven strategies that work right now. Your immediate network, the warm start. And this is where a lot of people go when they're selling things. This is the lowest hanging fruit from the forbidden tree. Make a list of every business owner that you know, friends, family, neighbors, places that you frequent. Even if they aren't in your niche, they might know someone who is. Reach out, say, hey, I'm launching a new software platform for whatever your niche is. And I'm wondering if you knew any, whatever company is in that niche, who might be open to checking it out. I'm looking for a few funding members to test it out on, or I'm looking for a few founding members to test it out on at a big discount. Now, it's a low pressure way to get your first conversations. The loom that you're going to have to deal with is going to be cold emails. Cold emails work if you do it right. Don't just blast out a generic template. That's spam. Instead, do something like this. Find a business in your niche with a clear problem. Bad website, no online booking, or terrible Google reviews. Record a short 5-minute screen video using a free tool like Loom. Start on their website and say, hey, whatever your business name is, my name is, throw that in there. I was looking at your website and I noticed a few things my software platform could help you with. Then spend 4 minutes quickly showing them your software and your branding and how it would solve their specific problem. Show them the booking calendars or the review automation. End with a simple call to action. If you are open to a quick 15-minute chat to see how this could work for you, just reply to this email. You're not talking prices here. You're talking what you see from the outside looking in is their problem and how your software can help them with that problem. Then you just tell them, hey, if you like this, give me a call. Now, one of the things that's going to work with this is, like I told you before, since you already have the product, you can make as many clients as you want with the product. If you are the first client, you can make one for yourself. You can make two. You can make one for yourself and make one that is a template to be used for similar clients to the target template, because you have unlimited ones that you can make here. And then with this 4-minute speech, you can show them the software in action with a hypothetical template platform, so they can see exactly what they're going to get. Then they're going to contact you, and the first thing they're going to ask you is how much. Send them an email with the subject line, a quick idea for whatever the business name is, and the video link. Trust me, this approach cuts through the noise. It's personal, shows immediate value, and proves you did your homework. It's not just a random BS generic message, because you are specifically addressing their business. You are specifically addressing what you see in their website, or in their reviews, or in the lack of website of business that you can benefit for them, right? The founding members offer. This is something that's important. No one wants to be the first customer, so don't ask them to be. Position your first 5 to 10 clients as founding members or beta testers. Offer them an irresistible deal in exchange for their business and their feedback. This could be a massive discount. My platform will eventually sell for $297 a month, but for my first 5 members, it's just $97 a month for life, right? Free done for you setup, because as a founding member, I'll personally set up your entire account, build your sales pipeline, and write your first 3 email campaigns for free. A request for a testimonial. The only thing I'm going to ask you for in return is a testimonial. Once they've gotten those results, that's what you want the client to do. And this is going to be social proof that is invaluable for selling clients number 11 through 100 at full price. Because the first 10, yeah, they got in for a little under par. But if you got 10 people in at $99 a month, you're still getting $990 a month off your $495. So you're still turning a profit, but now you have 10 clients, 10 positive reviews. You set everything up. You've got your experience in. You've got example templates that you can utilize, that you can use to pitch the next 11 through 100, which makes it a lot easier for you to lock in the next 11 through 100. This strategy removes the risk for the business owner and gives them a great reason to say yes. Your goal here isn't to maximize the profits. It is to maximize momentum. You're gaining all of the momentum that you need and a portfolio of happy customers to boot. Those first few testimonials are worth more than gold, because getting your first few clients might feel amazing, but if you're not careful, you can create a new job for yourself where you're just putting out fires all day long. The secret to real freedom in this business is to systematically organize your structure. And that's one of the reasons why, like I said, you're going to do the free trial. You might even do the first, pay for the first month full price on your own, because you want to use the software, use it for yourself, and then start getting out there, reaching out to clients that will benefit from the software because you have experience in the software. But you want this to be systematic where you can scale your clients without scaling your workload. And this is the boring part that actually makes you rich. Because once the workload starts getting enough for one 40-hour-a-week position, that's when you hire somebody to do it. When it's just like 5 hours a day, 5 days a week or less, you can wing it. But when it starts becoming 8 to 10 hours a day or 7 days a week, you start hiring somebody else to pick up that extra 5 hours in those extra 3 days. When that person has a full workload, you start bringing in extra employees in so that you can take the workload off of that person. If the first person is doing a damn good job, when you bring in the second and third person, what do you think you're doing now? You're promoting the first person to a trainer. They don't have to bring in as many. You've got the new people putting in the work, and they're going to do more work for the manager, where the manager is going to get theirs off of watching everybody else get theirs done, teaching everybody how to do it. You just got to do your pay scale. You got to restructure your pay scale so that the managers are still putting in work somewhere after the trainees are trained, but they're still putting in work somewhere where they're going to get them a residual off of the next guy coming in. You might say, well, the first 3 guys I hired are going to end up being promoted, and I'll give them an extra whatever percent commission from each person that I bring in the second time around, where the people that bring in the second time around are going to get less than the people that came in on the first time around. Whatever the case may be, however you restructured it. Each person that manages a couple of people, you don't got to teach nobody new how to do the job. Because for each one this guy teaches to sell, he gets paid. I get paid off of everybody being there. And the work gets exponentially grown. The goal is going to be to remove yourself from the day-to-day operations as much as possible, but you don't want to do it quickly. You want to do it strategically. And let me give you another explanation as to how that's going to work. If you create a bulletproof onboarding process, the moment a client signs up, this is going to be critical. Smooth onboarding ensures that they see the value immediately and don't flood you with basic questions. Create a welcome packet, a simple PDF, and automated email series with their login details and clear first steps and the checklist. Build an onboarding video library. Record your screen walking through common setups and all the tasks that they need to accomplish. How to import contacts, how to connect your domain, all of this stuff. Host these in a knowledge-based scenario. When a client has a question, just send them the link to the video. And this will save you hundreds of hours. Because if you've had to answer this question once, you'll have to answer that question 1,000 times. So the first time that question comes up, you make a video of it. Then every time the question comes up, you share the video with somebody. Matter of fact, you can have a FAQ page that has a link to every single question that could be asked. That FAQ page, when they go into the search bar and do how to, they click on the help button, go to how to, and then whatever they need, there's a video for it. And then they click on the videos, and the videos walk them through everything. You don't have to do squat. You just have to show them on the onboarding to type your question in the help search bar, and the answer will be there for the most frequently asked questions. If in the event your question wasn't answered, send us a message to talk to a live agent or whatever. Once you get to that live agent, you're in a position where I'm going to get this question for the first time. I'm going to walk you through it. Then I'm going to make a video to walk somebody else through it. And I'm going to add that to the FAQs. That way I don't have to do anything. Then you want to develop canned responses for common questions. You'll start getting the same questions over and over. Don't retype the answer every time. Create a document of a canned response. If you answered a question, put it in a PDF file for questions that were asked to you. Then you can quickly copy and paste it and put it in there. If you have the ability to set up chatbots, the chatbot system can set this up and automatically answer certain questions for them. Your support will end up becoming fast and consistent and requiring minimal effort and be available 24/7 even when you're sleeping. You want to host a monthly Q&A or strategy call. Instead of constant one-on-one calls, invite all your clients to a group call once a month. You can answer common questions, showcase new features, share new strategies. And this is an incredible, efficient way to provide value to everyone at once and build a sense of community. Because if you're working with all the local coffee shops, if you're working with all of the small mom and pop shops, you have a brand meeting where all the coffee shops come together. You're talking about all of these local tools, all of these nifty tools that's going to help the small coffee shops get better seen than Starbucks. Everybody's diving in, right? Automate everything that you can. Use the very tools that you're selling to automate your own business. Set up automated follow-ups for new leads and automated billing. And if a client has a credit card that fails, the system should notify them, not you, so that they can make the payment. By investing time up front to build these systems, and that helps you better understand the system so that you can teach them how to do it, you're going to buy back your future freedom. Your goal is to make your business run so smoothly that adding a new client requires almost zero extra work. This is going to be how you escape the trap of trading time for money and build a business that serves your life, not the other way around. Now you might be thinking, this sounds great, but what about other boring businesses like starting a laundromat or selling life insurance? It is a fair question. Let's do a quick head-to-head with popular sales businesses. Becoming a life insurance agent. Selling life insurance is a legitimate model. You get a license, sell policies, earn a commission. Startup costs are relatively low. You can earn a large upfront commission of often 70 to 100% of the first year's premium. And it is a sales-heavy role that rewards great relationship builders. However, let's compare it to our white label SaaS model on a few key factors. Barrier to entry. For a life insurance, you have to go through a state-regulated licensing process with courses and exams that can take weeks or months. For a white label SSA, you can be up and running in a few days. No government license required. With the life insurance, it is heavily weighted towards upfront commissions, convincing people that are financially strapped to get into something that they can't find value in a lot of times. You get a small renewal later if they stay, but you're always hunting for the next customer to maintain your income. With white label SaaS, it's the opposite. It's built on reoccurring subscriptions. So even sales stacks on top of the last, creating a predictable growing income stream is something that you're not going to get with insurance. So if you book, let's say you're getting $200 per, or let's say you're getting $300 a person from commission from the first deal, from the first month of close on each one of your insurance clients. Fine. You do 10, that's $3,000. Fine. But that's it. With this model, $300 a month that they're paying you to utilize it, it's $300 a month. You get 10, you're getting $3,000 a month every month. Not $3,000 for this month. With life insurance, you have to go get another 10. If you're satisfied with the level that you have right now, you can kind of stop trying. I wouldn't. I would keep stacking on. But now the pressure isn't on me to say, I got to get 10 more people by the end of the month. Now it's like, if I find a business that could really benefit from this, that can afford to do it, I can close 2 or 3 a month instead of pressuring myself to close 10. Instead of pressuring myself to compel people who might not really need this to get in on it, instead of showing the desperation in the deal. I could care less if they sign on. If I've already covered my overhead, I could care less if they sign on. But now I'm not spending every waking moment trying to get that first close. Because when you start doing the math saying that you want 10 a month, you're looking at 3 or 4 a week. And if by Wednesday you haven't gotten 2, you're really trying to pressure yourself to get it done by Friday if you're not going to put in work on Saturday and Sunday. It's the difference between being a hunter and being a farmer. The hunter eats what they kill today. A farmer builds a system that feeds them for years. Scalability is going to be another thing, because to scale an insurance business, you typically have to build a team of agents and manage them. To scale a white label SaaS business, you just need another client. Thanks to your system, adding the 50th client isn't much harder than the 10th. The software does the work for you. You can scale to a high income, whatever, without ever hiring a single employee. Or if you wanted to scale faster, after you've reached a certain income, you could hire employees so that they can get commission off of adding new people to the take, where you're going to get paid monthly subscriptions. What say you they get the $500 per client, right, that they close. You're charging $300 a month. They close 10 clients. So they made $5,000. You're getting $300 a month off of each client. You're closing 10 clients. You're getting $3,000 a month. So if they close 10 clients, the first 2 months is a thank you to them for adding to your fold. The next 10 months is money in the bank for you. So if they added 10 clients on every month, you would give them 2 months out of the 10 that they got. And then you would keep the other 10 months, which means that for every 10 they get you, you're getting what, $30,000 a year off of every $5,000 you give them. You're getting $30,000 a year. They do that year round. You should be upward of 120 clients if they're closing 10 clients. See how that works? If they're closing 10 clients a month for 12 months, is 120 clients that they got you. And if your clients are paying $300 per client per month, you're well over $300,000 a year. You're well over $360,000 a year. And you're paying somebody else what? $50,000 a year? Worth it. Totally worth it. 50, 60,000 a year you're paying that per, which means that if you broke them off their 60 grand, bringing you down to like 70,000 a year, and then you take out the cost for the platform, like 8,000, you're still looking at like 50, 60,000 a year. You didn't have to do squat. You didn't have to set anybody up. You didn't have to answer any calls. You didn't have to talk to any clients. You didn't have to do anything. One extra person could double your revenue. That is a magnificent position. So the nature of the work, which selling insurance, is a pure sales job. I don't like those. You are selling an intangible promise. Selling your white label software is more of a consulting role. You're solving an immediate business problem with a tool that they can see and use every single day. For many, demonstrating a solution is a much marketable way to sell. Selling people on a dream, selling people on a what if is a lot harder in a lot of different ways. Both are viable models though, but if your goal is to build a scalable, high margin business that generates predictable, reoccurring revenue without needing a license or a team, the white label SaaS model is, in my opinion, a clear winner. It's a modern, boring business for our time, but boring is more stable. And it's the kind of thing that you can do. If you've got an extra $500 worth of beer and cigarettes and hanging out at the club, you've got an extra $500 to start this up as a side job. You've got this as a kind of situation where over the first 12 months, you should be able to lock down 12 people. You should be able to lock down at least 5. But like we said before, after the first 2, it's paying for itself. The other 3 is pure profit. By the time you figure this out over the first 12 months, get your marketing scheme down, get your sales pitch down, and get a lot of practice on using the platform to help bring in more customers for yourself while using the platform to help your client bring in more customers for them, you find yourself becoming a master at it. By year 2, it's not going to be hard to have 100 clients by the end of the year. And again, at $300 a month, that's $300,000. So, and that's $300,000 on top of your first year's salary. So there you have it. The complete blueprint for building a ridiculously profitable yet boring business. Now, we've torn down the myth that you need a world-changing idea to be very successful. We've shown you how to find an underserved niche, choose a powerful piece of software, and rebrand it as your own solution. We've walked you through the simple math that gets you to $4,000 a month in recurring profits with just a handful of clients. Now, while everyone else is chasing the impossible dream of becoming the next Mark Zuckerberg, you have the opportunity to build a real profitable business right under everyone else's noses. This model works, and it's very proven, and it is accessible to anyone willing to put in that work. You don't need a computer science degree. You might need a computer, a little bit of internet. And beyond that, you just need to take the first steps. And your first step is to pick the niche. That's it. Don't worry about the software or the logo yet. Just decide what niche you want to serve. I want you to do one thing for me right now. Go down to the comments and tell me one niche you are considering. Could it be plumbing, chiropractors, dog groomers, whatever? I didn't even think about dog grooming until just now. Dog groomers are fantastic. They always need work. Dog groomers, dog sitters, babysitters, especially startups. They need this platform to help get them started. Just by writing it down, you are making it real. You are taking the first crucial steps to making your business become a reality. And if you found anything in tonight's show valuable, do me a favor and hit that subscription button, because I'm going to be putting out more deep dives on these kinds of real achievable business models that can make you more self-sufficient. And here's one of the best parts about this, because remember, every Wednesday I give you guys a different show, a different country around the world that you could potentially live and invest in. As a digital nomad, a lot of places in Asia, certain countries around the world can allow you to get in there for under 100,000 a year. You're building a business that allows you to not only not have to go to the customer's storefront, but anywhere in the world that you have functional, accessible internet and a usable cell phone, you have the capabilities to utilize this online platform to build your business and then run your customer base from anywhere in the world. When you start showing any one country $5,000 or $7,000 a month direct deposit from your business, that's a digital nomad. You're working off of the computer. That's a digital nomad. Small business owner. That's a business visa, a work visa, right? And then if you want to bring that business to another country, do a foreign domestic, start it up, hire a few people, buy a few computers, teach them how to do the same thing. Now you can have locals run the business for you. You don't have to do anything. They're expanding your business for you. They're expanding your profits for you. All you got to do really is have your CPA file the taxes on your behalf. And now you've got an international business. You can have 2 or 3 people knocking this out in America. You can have 2 or 3 people knocking it out in Asia. And you could be in the Philippines. And your money will be making more money for you, and you don't have to do anything else. All it takes is for you to start off by figuring out which niche you want to serve, getting the software, using the software for yourself. And even if you locked in one person a month over the next 3 months, you would still have 3 people and 2 people pay for the software. That's how you make yourself successful. Any startup business that you want to have, you want to look at the cost to get in. Then you want to look at your break-even point. Then you want to look at your profit margin. Your break-even point is your first step. You want to know, how much do I got to put in before I break even? Then how much do I have to put in to recoup what I've invested? Then everything else is pure profit. Once you have recouped your initial investment, you can use your initial investment to expand. That's where, like I told you, once you get 10, 15, 20 people under your belt, 30 people under your belt, you know how to do this. You know how to run the thing. You can do an onboarding system to hire people to run the pitch for you. You start offering people $5 for you. You know that it took you a few months to really start closing 5 people a month. Set the par. Say, hey, I'll give you $500 a client to close as many people as you can close. But you know that the first few months they're not going to close more than 3 people a month. But you're guaranteeing them $1,500 a month to get started. And the better they get, the more people you bring in. And since it's a reoccurring service, a reoccurring monthly subscription, that works for the clientele. Them setting it up, not just to get the people on board, but getting it set up where the client starts getting the reoccurring service. Now you're in a position where you don't have to do nothing. And you can always have one person in the middle that is maintaining the platform, where their whole job is to maintenance 100 or 200 clients. That person can get what do they call that? A retainer fee. You don't have to pay them nearly as much as you pay everybody else, but if you got a retainer fee, until you're needed, you're making money. When you need it, you need to get a chance in there and get the job done. And when you're paying somebody a retainer fee to knock back all of the stuff that your sign-ons aren't working on, the middleman that's maintaining the platforms keeps you from losing your subscriptions. But that means you've got 2 or 3 people signing people on every month, and one person keeping everybody from leaving the program. And then you managing everybody. It's possible to build a 7-figure business off of, and when we look at all of the businesses around the world, you can do this in America, you can do this in other countries, and you can set yourself up a 7-figure business that runs off of selectively focusing on a specific niche. And like I said before, because the platform works the same for different niches, once one niche gets up and going and gets automated where you don't have to mess with it no more, you can literally get a whole nother website set up, a whole nother domain set up, use the exact same software, and focus on a whole nother niche doing the exact same thing. And now you've got 5 or 10 people over here. You've got 5 or 10 people over here. And the most interesting part about it is these two businesses can be sub businesses of a conglomerate, of an umbrella company. Interesting enough that the umbrella company could be the face of all of the other smaller companies. Now you're like, hey, come join my marketing group because I will get your business off the ground. Look at all of these different companies that I've gotten off the ground. That's how you make it big. You can actually run a video ad that is just a slideshow of every successful business that signed up with your company. And they're real businesses that people can Google and see, yep, they're taking off. And by all means, they'll be like, yep. And that helps them sign on, because bandwagon effect is the next thing that happens. When your brand is successful, people are successful through your brand, the next thing that happens is people are going to come looking for you. One of the things I've always wanted to do is I've always wanted to have a business listed or identified as the gold standard, but the gold standard's already been trademarked. But but if I ran that route where we were trademarked as the gold standard, at the end of the day, people would know us driving down the street. Because I would, instead of, you would think, I would have a company vehicle that would be solid gold. No, it would be a straight up black vehicle with gold trim. It would, because the gold trim would stand out amongst the black. And somewhere on the car, there would be an emblem that says gold standard. And it'd be a company vehicle. And like, oh, the gold standard. Those are the people that set up my website. That's that's it. That's it. If I pull up in a gold standard, it's not a Bentley, it's not a Buick, it's not a Tesla, it's a gold standard. I pulled up in the gold standard. They already know who it is. It's the people who got us our bonuses last month. Just like when you see somebody pull up in a Roto-Rooter truck. Somebody pull up in a gold standard, like a Lincoln Black Label, the S edition, and you put gold standard on it, get the gold trim on it. That's it. Brand yourself on something like that. It's building a brand is more than just the logo. It is putting the logo everywhere, putting it on your company vehicles. It's everywhere. Getting uniform shirts, everything, everywhere. And each person that works for you gets a uniform. And all of these uniforms are tax deductions. So there you have it. 2 hours of how to build a white label business using software that you didn't have to create. I'm going to start off by saying, ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking you ladies to make it make sense. So ladies, please make it make sense. And fellas, I give you this information to help you become higher value men so that you can find the things in your life that are inside of your control that you don't like. You can change it. Then you can navigate around the things that you cannot change. And ladies, while this is a male-driven podcast from the male's perspective, You too can take all the information that we put on this show and make yourselves higher value women simply by doing the research, finding the end goal of your 20-year plan, where not just you retire off of someone else, but you and your partner can retire together. And whatever that goal is, you start putting forth the effort to get there. And once you put forth effort to get there, you will find yourself coming across somebody that complements your dreams, and then y'all can share those dreams together and get there a whole lot faster. Your 20-year plan. Oh, she just slid in. Special shout out to Claudia. Today, we spent the whole night talking about creating a white label business utilizing software you didn't have to create so that you can be a niche service provider for local businesses that have very tedious requirements that they don't have the time to support. But through a program that you could use that might cost you a little under $500 a month, you could charge them $300 a month for the service, and 2 customers would pay for the overhead. And by the time you got to 10 customers, you're turning over a massive profit. I talked about scalability. I talked about automation. I talked about how you could add more people on so that they could take your workload off. I talked about how you could do this all over the world. I talked about how you could actually promo it to the first 10 people and charge them $99 a month, because if you charge the first 10 people $99 a month, set everything up for them, and then have them give you reviews, now you've got 10 positive reviews on your platform. They're still paying the $99 a month every month, but if you got 10 people paying $99 a month, you've got $1,000 a month. The platform only costs you a flat rate, fixed rate of $500 a month, which makes it far easier for you to turn profits. And that builds your network. You're using the software. You're learning how to use the software to bring in more clients for yourself, which helps you learn how to use the software to bring in more clients for your clients. And then you master the program that you're teaching your clients to master and automate. You become the source of their revenue increase and their back office headaches. And then you automate that effort to every other business in a niche. Hire people to come in and take over. And while they're expanding your business, you can start up another one doing the exact same thing. Because if it's a niche-based back office service, every company needs it. But each individual company that you set up using the same software will focus on one specific niche. So you could have one focusing on yoga studios, one focusing on hair salons, one focusing on body and fender shops, and each niche will have a handful of employees focusing on just that niche. After a while, even if you're giving, like I said halfway through, even if you were giving your employees a commission of $500 for each subscription that's signed on, that's 2 months of the subscription out of 10. You're still getting $300 a month for 12 months. If you gave them $500 out of that, you're still getting a guaranteed $30,000 for each client they add on. They add on 10 clients, you're getting 300 grand. You know, so you're able to build things in a way where, and this is the kind of system where you set it up, you build it. Or actually, I did the math wrong. You do like 300 times 10, and that's going to be like 3,000. But it's 3,000 per person. You get 10 people. That's 30,000. You get 100 people. That's 300,000. So that's the better math. Either way it goes, you set it up in a way where they're adding to your foundation, but it's all on a computer. So as long as you've got internet and a functional computer, you can make yourself a 7-figure salary. You can cross over 50 to 100 clients before you start adding more employees on, because the system is going to be semi-automated to the magnitude where before it starts becoming overwhelming, you're making $14,000 to $20,000 a month doing it yourself. It's the kind of thing that you can start off doing while working for somebody else. And as you get better at it, after you've passed your first 3 full price clients, the software is paying for itself. So if you got 10 people to get it on a founders edition at the base $9.99 a month, or $99 a month, instead of the $300 a month, plus the review they're going to give you, positive review that they're going to give you for getting it started. The founders edition, which you'd still need to get 4 people on to cover the overhead. The 5th person on the founders edition, that's a profit for you. So if you got the first 10 people, you're still got 6 people worth of profit every month. So the software pays for itself, flat rate fee, and then everybody after you get your 10 reviews is all full price, all coming from automation, and you can scale. And then you can do that anywhere in the world. All you have to do now is just take the extra money that you don't need to put towards, if you wanted to advertise so that you didn't have to put out the footwork. You could do that too, where now you're taking inbound calls instead of doing outbound calls. You can do that too, which makes the job easier for you to bring more people in. But all of that puts you into a position where you could take the extra money, put it into a brokerage account, build up the brokerage account like I keep talking about. Now you got 2 incomes. You've got the profits from the brokerage account after the profits from the business. If you've got working capital from the business, guess what you can do now? You can take a working capital loan out on this functional business and then have that working capital loan get you he said, I saw you were live. He clicked on an old video thinking I was live for over an hour. This is probably a show you didn't see. Well, if you've been commenting, I got a lot of responses that I'm going to be giving you today. Well, we've been here for 2 whole hours. We were covering. I was just telling Claudia we were covering everything about how to start up. And Steven, you could probably do this because you work for a job that you don't like, that you could take this effort and start you up a white label software company and use that to start scaling up a side job. By the time you get out of college, you'll have a side business. So regardless of whether or not you do what you want to do with your degree, you have a business on the side that's making money, make money for you, and you don't have to be there. Whenever you can do something where you can be off to the left doing something else while money is being made off to the right, that's always a lucrative investment. The benefit will come from the effort, though. Again, it's not going to be a get rich quick. It's not going to be an overnight sensation kind of situation. You're going to have to do the free trial. You're going to have to put effort into it every day using the website so that you can know how to do it, to show other people how to do it. You're going to have to use all of the tools to automate the thing so that it can provide your customers with all of the benefits that your customers need by the time you start getting customers. And you might have to run it for 2 or 3 or 5 months before you get your first 3 people in there. But by the time you get your first 3 full price people in there, if you're paying $500 a month for the software from day 1 and you start getting people in on month 3 or month 5, you have now started bringing people in to offset your overhead. And you have mastered the program over that 5-month period of time. And now you're starting to make more money back than what you put into it, and it's paying for itself. By the time you got out of college, it would be running itself. You would have extra employees doing it for you. You would have a payroll system monitoring their involvement, and everything will be running on its own. Direct deposit for everybody. And it would be very little overhead for you. Your utility service, your internet service, that's pretty much it. And the cost of upgrading your computer every now and again. And everyone else, they dive in and they get pennies on a dollar off of what you get, but you're still turning out a very big profit. So I tell you guys every week. So if you missed today's show because you were watching it from a different location, go back and start watching it from the beginning. There's a lot of stuff that you could benefit from on today's show. You can also go, because we also covered a little bit about the life insurance scenario. Because I mean, yeah, you can go out there, but you got to get a license, you got to get certified in the state. Then you can settle life insurance, but that's going to be more of a commission-based seller scenario. If you're going to get paid off of the setup of a company where you're going to get some subscription-based sales, you're going to get reoccurring payments from the same customer. So your goal isn't to get 1,000 customers a month. Your goal is to get like 3 to cover the overhead. That's it. Then whatever your standard of living is, if your standard of living is $5,000 a month, if you're charging $300 a month per person, you want to get like 12 or 15 people. That's it. But you don't have to get them right away, because if you already got a primary job, you can just get them over the course of the year. You can end up with 15 people in 15 months, and now your entire standard of living is covered. You can quit your job and live off of the guaranteed subscriptions. And if they're seeing the benefits of your efforts, you're good to go. You're good to go. You can even do certain times out of the year promos where first month is $99 and every other month after that is $300. You can do that too. All of these different ways where you can set it up where you can bring in more clientele and you can get a lot more money for the madness. And that helps lock them in on success. So what I was about to say was we're gonna meet up tomorrow, because this was the end of the show. I wish that y'all would have been here 2 hours ago. But we're gonna wrap up the show for tonight. We've got a lot of stuff coming up for tomorrow, because we're gonna be talking about South Korea. And then we have the rest of the week set up already. So hit the notification buttons and it should take you straight to the show. Yeah, that's really all I got for you for today, because this was a very event. I'm glad that the guys on TikTok told me about it. I was like, whew, let me do some research. And then when I saw it's legit, I was like, man, they're gonna love this on YouTube. So as soon as we figure out what we're gonna be doing with TikTok, see if we can get TikTok over here. We're gonna try to get that on stream key. We're gonna bring TikTok over here, and they're gonna have TikTok going live every night of the week. But until we do that, I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow. So if you can, because I know y'all gotta work, we typically tee off a little after the top of the hour at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. So if y'all got the ability to even play us in the background while you're doing what you got to do, you can always slide in at the top of the show, because I've been doing a good job for 2026 showing up on time. But we ran a 2 hour and 15-minute show. And I don't have anything else to tell y'all. And since we're not talking about controversy, I don't even have a rant to go on for you, because I'm like, you can make money working from home. Problem solved. Every show that I do, I make it make sense for you guys. I find a problem, I solve it, and then I tell you guys how to make things better for yourselves. And once I've conquered that, I'm like, mic drop moment. I don't know what else to do. So I really appreciate you guys for coming to the show. Thank you for coming to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I will see you guys tomorrow night.
Chase validation, now I validate. That's my personal command. I'm not mounted on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never yield.